this is live. We're gonna roll with no tags. Let me see if this actually worked. We're gonna roll with no tags. Spur of the moment, just to get a video out. I don't even see it showing me live. So we just need to put some type of photo. Let's change it. Let's no note. All right, hold on one second. What's going on? I don't know if I can add you to. It says I can. Hold on. If you want to hop on, there we go. Okay, let's see. Let's come here. There we go. I'm using a different program today. Just bear with me. I'm gonna let me see if I, because this is an old phone. I don't know if it's in this phone. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. No. The sound is cutting off. It's not working right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 3. All right, there we go. Testing 1, 2, 3. Bear with me while I try to get this song figured out. I'm gonna use this picture. Just a random picture. On and off. What does that mean? Real choppy? This might not work. Not work. Did it? I don't think it did. Not choppy, but dead. Is there only air when I'm talking? Is that what you're saying? Like whenever I'm, the sound goes away, but whenever I'm saying, like right now, it's picking me up. Is that what it's doing? Trying to figure it out. Trying to understand what y'all are saying, because I can't hear it at the moment. Give me one second though, and I'll come back to the chat and try to figure it out together. I normally don't use this. Only when you're not speaking though. That's what I thought. Okay, so I understood you right. The mic cuts off, but whenever I'm talking, the mic stays on. All right, so that means I gotta be quiet. I just gotta keep talking random ass shit, saying random ass shit. Can't take nothing while I try to set this up. Cause like I said, I'm trying to figure out this restream. I used it like 1 or 2 times in the past. Sounds like an old school. You talking about an old school phone? It would be a new phone. That's what I think of. Not like a wire phone, but like a pay phone. You talking about a house phone though? But I remember when you had to move the cable a certain way so people can hear you. They don't know about that no more. You in New York. That's it. See if I got it. Let's see here. And it cuts. Oh, well, that's trash. That's real trash. So is what you're telling me. That's basically what you're saying. Like, yo, this is trash. You should have went live on Restream. Garbage. That's what you're telling me. Because we're trying to get this figured out before I start talking. It's going in and out. There's really no point. There's no point at all. Charles, you want to jump? Prodigal, do you want to jump on, or you just up? Wait, we got Prodigal in the background, so let's. Did that work? Talk.
What's going on, brother?
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
All right, let's turn you up. How you doing? You fine? Can you hear me?
I'm well, brother. I'm well. I can't complain. How are you?
Let's do this. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. I'm gonna turn your mic up, more controls on here, but is it real choppy for you as well?
Yeah, it's going in and out. When you're speaking, it's a little in and out.
Ah, that sucks. Cause I hear you perfect. Hey, do y'all hear him perfect? It might be because I'm talking from a distance. Hey, can y'all hear Prodigal talking perfect, or is it both of us perfect?
Charles says I'm clear.
That's some bullshit. Yeah, what you want to chop it up about? I put the thumbnail as Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight division, but you don't want to talk about that.
I'm down for whatever. Got to get the set in first.
Yeah. We about to walk it on. I waited too late for workout, so I'm just doing it on camera. I saw that I didn't drop a video today. We'll just do a video live, spur of the moment. You know what?
I hear you.
I never thought I would ever see that Wilder is fighting harder competition than Anthony Joshua. It has been reported that he's going to fight. How do you feel about that fight?
I was listening to something earlier that was saying he had the option. I think AJ had 3 options with a couple different fighters. I think another fight that was like thought that he would probably take is the Otto Wallen fight.
All right. What's the other?
So it's Otto. I think I heard something about the Chris Arreola, and then I think there's another. What was the other fight? One of the American guys. Not Jared Anderson. It's not coming to me at the moment. Not an American guy. Actually, Hrgovic. So he could fight either Hrgovic, Otto Wallen, or possibly Arreola, and then Ruiz as well.
Yeah, I mean the Ruiz would be good, but I don't think Ruiz is pinning Ruiz is already pinning the winner out of Wilder, and then whoever wins out of those two, say Wilder wins for the WBC belt. So I doubt he would have to fight AJ.
Yeah.
Can mess up his mandatory position.
Yeah.
But Otto Wallen, so his name on there as far as rankings go. That's an easy fight for AJ. Should be able to beat Hrgovic because he's extremely slow.
Yeah, exactly.
But Otto Wallin, he could potentially beat AJ. I don't know. That's a good fight. That's like a good fight, but it's a lot of risk.
Yeah, and the thing is there, it's like he would have to look good in beating Otto because Otto gave Tyson Fury such a tough time.
Right. And the thing that I don't know, like Otto Wallin, like seeing how Otto Wallin is a very good boxer as well, but a hell of a lot bigger. Would he really want to risk it against another good technical boxer? I don't know. It's a great fight, though. It's a great fight. If it happened, how do you see the Wallin AJ?
I feel like AJ might employ big man tactics, and really try to get him out of there. This is assuming that we want to say Otto Wallin is probably as good as Andy Ruiz. I don't think Otto Wallin is as good as Andy Ruiz personally. I feel like Andy Ruiz has better hand speed, but Otto Wallin's a little bit more cagey. Um, AJ may do well with people who are a little bit more cagey because if we look at when he fought Dillian White, that's actually who it was. So he has Dillian White, Hergovich, or Otto Wallin as three potential comeback fights. That's it. So they might do the second match with Dillian White, possibly. Which I mean, at this point in time, probably be a good idea as well.
Yeah, there was a point in time where I thought Dillian could beat AJ out of the ring inactive for so long. I don't think he could beat AJ at this point.
Yeah. So if AJ wants to get his confidence back, why not just have a rubber match? Well, no, it would be a rubber match. Excuse me. Why not just have the White fight? Like Charles pointed out, it'd be a big UK fight. They could possibly put it in a stadium. It'd be a good show.
Yeah, no, it definitely would. It definitely would be a real good show. It'd be that we could see is how well AJ sells compared to Fury fangirls, cult members who say that AJ is the biggest star, and they don't like the fact that Fury holds the most ticket sales at 94,000. So if 1,000 with Dillian White, then that argument of Dillian White's the reason it's sold.
Yeah.
So his actual marketability is right now. Has he lost stock? Is it still the same? Good test because I think he'll beat Dillian White just because Dillian White never looks good when he's in. He was inactive for a long time when he got in there with Marius Watt. He was inactive for a very long time when he got in there with Tyson Fury. Got embarrassed for a long time again. So to me, he looks to stay active.
Yeah. Yeah, no, most definitely. And I think this is probably it'd be a good send off potentially if AJ does really well in beating White. That'd probably be the end of White. I think personally, if they were to fight.
Oh no, most definitely. That for one of them, it's the end of the road.
Yeah. I feel like AJ still has more in his tank because he hasn't really been like sort of blitzed as much as White has. So we're looking at a potentially it's a crossroads fight, of sorts. It's like, can AJ still operate at the top and look good in doing so? Or does White still have anything left?
I don't know, like, because I look at it like this. If AJ beats Dillian White, he might. Where are you going to go? You're not going to get another championship shot. Like you turn into Derek. But you got to look at it like this. If AJ loses the Usyk twice, loses the Dillian White, and 9 times out of 10, if he loses the White, he'll probably end up getting knocked out. Lose on points. So if White was to win, it'd be by not. If he gets knocked out by Dillian White, in my opinion, I think it's done.
Oh yeah, no, his stock will go way down. I mean, his stock is already down, but yeah, if he loses to Dillian, it would be over.
The only easy fight for him is the Ariola fight. All the other options are action fights.
I mean, I feel like AJ has enough to beat Hrgovic.
Too. I agree.
Because Hrgovic, as you said, he's quite slow. And then, like, I mean, I'm always of the opinion you're only as good as your last performance, and Hrgovic's performance last was not that great.
Against Zilly Zhang,
yeah,
performances haven't been that good. Like I don't know what it is. Post the virus, to me, he looks like his body looks sore in the ring. Like he doesn't look like the same fighter that everybody was like hyping up to be in the division.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you think there's a possibility that Tyson Fury could throw every joint?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I said, do you think there's a possibility that Tyson will lose and end up fighting Joe Joyce?
You know, I really want that fight in so many different ways because that'd probably be, I mean, you know, for whatever money is, that's a big UK fight too. So I mean, why not just give Joyce the opportunity, right? You know, why have an easy picking fight? Why fight Manuel Char where you could just go you know, for the top? You know, this is another UK Olympian guy. Well, this will probably be his first like UK Olympian guy who's a sizable man who can give him a proper challenge, I think. You know, he can't. What Tyson Fury is about 6'9", and then Joe Joyce is 6'6". So you know, they relatively, you know, are both, you know, equally as big, and it would be a little bit of it'd be, I would say, reminiscent of when Fury fought Klitschko. You know, not saying Joe Joyce has any sort of Klitschko sort of style, but in terms of just seeing how can he, you know, have those types of tactics, Fury that is, how can he have the same type of tactics with Joe Joyce?
Of course, yeah. I don't know, like that outside of Usyk, that's probably the biggest fight in boxing because, like, technically gifted, that can move around the ring, can box real good, keep people on the outside, but he's the juggernaut. Like, he gets hit, blinks at you, and keeps coming forward.
He just keeps coming.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like you said, like, in my opinion, I think Joe Joyce is bigger. Joe Joyce, 3 inches shorter than Tyson Fury, and weighs the same weight. So,
yep.
And I guarantee you, he's a hell of a lot stronger. So, with that being said, all that Fury likes to do, null and void against Joe Joyce.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's just a dense person. So it's just like he's probably those tactics of laying on him and stuff, it's not going to work.
No, it will not work at all. Not at all. Give me bone. This weight drill.
As someone pointed out. Yeah.
I'm listening.
Even though Joyce may be slow, the thing is he just has that power. So it's just that dense power that hits you. As you can see what he did to Parker. You know, Parker was lighting him up, you know, in certain spots like a Christmas tree. But you know, it's just that power reigns through the end. It's interesting though. We don't really know what Joe Joyce's gas tank is like per se, because I mean, if we're going off when he fought Dubois, he looked like he kept, you know, going through that fight pretty handily. Dubois was the one who gassed, and again, getting jabbed to the eye with just that power that Joyce has. It's gonna weigh on you after a while. And then this is also, I mean, if it was Fury and Joyce fighting, um, do we think Fury will gas at some point? Just getting hit, bodily to the body solidly by Joyce. It's going to be a nightmare.
So let me hit these comments and I'll respond exactly to what you just said. Charles asked, neither fighter ever been distance prior to that fight. I agree. Welcome to the chat. I want to know where the fuck they found Char at. Joyce too slow. Joyce will gas. Joyce won't like. What Fury ain't got no pace. Joyce will type. I would be more inclined to disagree with Charles and agree with Kelvin there. I would say that if anybody is going to make Tyson Fury tired, it's because he's physically big enough to do it. He's physically big enough to impose himself on Fury. Whereas nobody who's fought him ever had that opportunity. Like Charles also said, though, Joyce is very slow. Tyson is Fury hit hard enough to back Joe Joyce up. If he can, then he might. If he cannot, and Joyce just cuts off that ring and just comes forward like a tank, like a long night for Tyson Fury. Yeah, it's a 50-50.
I think personally, Fury would probably try to clinch Joyce a lot. That's probably his best tactic. He won't lay on him, but he'll definitely try to like tie him up on a lot and just try to hit him in those types of spots, and seeing if Joyce could sort of handle, like if he throws shots in the clinch or what have you.
But did you see how hard Joyce was hitting Parker in the clinch? Just them little.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if being in the clinch is where Fury wants to be with him. I don't know. Like that's a I don't know. Like I really don't know, because if you got a guy, go ahead.
Do you think Fury will try to want to be like? I mean, clearly he's going to want to be the outside fighter, being a taller man and possibly having a longer reach. So he'll try to hit him with jabs after jab, maybe just a jab straight, and just try to keep on doing that to the point where he can probably try to catch Joyce in between spots or in between shots.
Yeah, I think that would be the tactic. It's going to be a bunch of jabs straight or a lead straight to hit him as he's marching forward, and then to angles, get off the line and skim your back against the ropes. Leave Joyce stuck in the middle. Kind of like what AJ did to Ruiz in the rematch. At least that's what I would tell him. I'd be like, look, you don't want to trade with this dude.
Yeah, I mean, are we kind of neglecting Fury's power? Because, Fury, he can crack too. So, and I mean, I personally think Joyce probably has way more power than Fury. But again, Fury, he can crack as well. So, and we haven't necessarily seen Joyce hurt.
Well, no, we haven't. We've taken shots from tackle where he kept throwing overhead hands and catching them nonstop. We saw Daniel Dubois had to throw at him and kept coming forward. And Dubois, even though I don't rate, he still hits very hard, and he ate all those. And then Parker, he was eating, kept coming forward like it was nothing. So my question would be, do we think Fury hits harder than Parker? Hits harder than Daniel Dubois? I hits harder than tackle, but those two, I'm not sure that Fury can hit harder than.
I would definitely say Fury hits harder than Parker, just based upon I mean, the only measure we really have of his latest knockouts is Deontay Wilder, right? So, that's that's the thing. Is anybody the guys we're talking about, are they as vulnerable? Would you say Joyce is as vulnerable as Deontay Wilder? That's just it's an unknown question. We don't really know.
Is vulnerable? I would say yes, only because his defense is his durability. I don't know. I mean, off of what I've seen, I'm way more durable than Wilder, but at the same time, Wilder proved to be extremely durable because taking a beating and never gave up, never quit, and kept going. So until he couldn't go no. I don't know. I mean, I would say that Joyce is probably a lot more talented, but he's not as explosive. So checks and balances.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, that would be the fight to make. Unfortunately, do we see that happening? Probably not, because as they were saying, Manuel Char is probably the front runner for this fight. But I did hear they were trying to get the Derek Chisora. They want that fight more. So I mean, for whatever reason that may be, that might be the more fan friendly fight, and in a way, I will support it because in this way, this will be Chisora's last big payday, so to speak, and then he'll probably retire most likely if he loses. Finally retires, that is.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. He should retire, but it seems like no matter how many ass whoopings he takes, he doesn't win. So I don't know.
But where would Chisora go? Like the only other option for him is if he loses to Fury, then maybe have another match with White, and then that has to be it because there's no other way. There's nowhere to go for him.
Well, he could fight somebody like Big Baby. I mean, excuse me, the real Big Baby, Jared Anderson. Fight. So there's always going to be guys that he could gatekeep for.
Yeah, but it's like I think he's like really adamant that he's all about the money at this point in time. So fighting like a Jared Anderson or the up and coming guys, they're not gonna have any dollar amount for him.
Yeah, that's right there. That's a good point. That's valid. Valid point. I don't know. Like
because he's not. I wouldn't even say he's journeyman status anymore. He's more so like, I guess I call it like a novelty fighter. So he's only fighting, or he's a prize fighter through and through because he's only concerned about the money. So in the UK, he's definitely going to have the big UK paydays. So fighting the likes of Tyson Fury, and then even fighting Dillian White again. Those would give him the necessary monetary value that he's looking for.
It definitely would. I mean, to me, the deal is risky for Dillian White because Chisora and Dillian White are very similar in style. Very dangerous for Dillian White. And I will say this. Every time it's done, he shows some signs of rejuvenation. Like, for instance, I thought he won. Clearly, I thought he beat Parker. I felt like he was robbed in that fight. But he got dominated. So, you can never count Chisora.
No, yeah, he definitely has comeback prowess. So yeah, you can't ever count him out. But at this stage, especially if he's stepping in the ring with Fury, we're expecting Fury to put a dent in him, and it'd be a bad dent, personally, I think. So. If that were to happen, that's probably last chance to lose.
Right. No, I agree with you. And the thing about it is, we saw Chisora fight Tyson Fury. He quit. He didn't want to get out. I don't see how Chisora wins this fight, and I don't see how it's Fury.
Yeah, because I mean the second half of that, it's like, what does this do for Fury in terms of raising his stock. I'm in regards to, we just want to see that undisputed fight. Fighting Chisora, that's not going to help you prepare for Usyk at all. You know, so you need somebody a little bit who can be an heir apparent to the throne in a sense. You fight somebody who is at the top of these very lists. You should fight Ergovich, even though he's an IBF mandatory. You should fight mandatories at each sort of belt, requirement. Whoever is the WBC mandatory, fight them. Who's ever he has to fight the WBC mandatory. Whoever's the IBF mandatory, who's ever the WBA mandatory, who's ever the WBO mandatory, try to fight those type of guys. That will put you in good stead to, really fight for that undisputed title.
Well, I think it's for Usyk. 3 choices come to mind: a rematch with Mover, a Carlos Takam fight would be very good because he's angles, especially up close where Usyk's going to have to be. Or I was thinking of, I had another one in mind. It was Takam, volume. Oh, Michael Hunter. I think Michael Hunter would be a good option. There's another cruiserweight like Usyk who moved up in weight, who has a lot of Hunter's been seen to tire here lately. In the later rounds, couple of rounds, it would be very competitive and train him for a guy like Usyk.
Yeah, especially because Michael Hunter, the what was it, the Huey Fury fight, for whatever reason, just could not get over the line. Every time they try to get it to go, and it just fell through.
Right. So I think those 3 fighters for Fury would be like a good warm-up stylistically.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have to get good at like finding, not going to sit still. Usyk's not going to come head on at him. He's going to move off the line. He's going to try to step around and stay close to Fury. I just don't think Usyk stands to get completely mollywopped.
Yeah. Are you still team Kambosos for this weekend?
If I get this pick wrong, I'm shaking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You have that deal going. Well, here's some good news. Apparently Kambosos been living in the gym. Like literally living in the gym.
I heard that Anna too. He fired his whole staff.
So we'll see.
I'm really thinking, because you got to understand, like, very good. Although I'm with Tyson Fury losing to Dillian White, I was wrong about Tyson Fury. And like I said, I had been hyping that up for years prior to when they finally fought. I was wrong about Haney, and then I was wrong about Katie Taylor and Serrano, even though I still believe Serrano. I think Taylor won that fight. I thought Serrano won that fight clearly.
No, she definitely did. She definitely did. I mean, the goal was to hopefully they would have actually been the first, when you want to talk about historic events, they probably would have been the first women to fight for 3 minutes. I felt like if that extra minute was added, then Serrano definitely would have put a dent in Taylor. But that's a good segue to the ladies who are fighting this weekend as well. Who do you have for Shields versus Marshall and Baumgartner versus Meyer?
So I got Marshall beating Shields. No, here's my thing. This is how I look at it. And I say this all the time. Amateur is more in line for a technical boxer, not a power puncher like Marshall is third into. Advantageous for a person who can move and have little pity patters to score. Only 3 rounds. So, being that Marshall beat her in the end, and that was with headgear on and bigger gloves for men, is 12 ounce wear in amateur boxing. I don't if theirs is 12 or 14 ounces, but headgear and Marshall still outboxed her. So what's going to happen when you remove Marshall and put them in smaller gloves, and Marshall's going 1,000% power on her and still the amateurs? I just don't see how Shields beats her. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, right? It's tough because Clarissa is very technically savvy. But you know, Marshall is big, big woman.
Big.
And she can crack. And we haven't seen, you know, in boxing at least, shills get, you know, sort of lit up that way. So it's going to be interesting to see if Marshall can just, you know, land that fight changing type of shot, and we got to see how Shields responds. I think when Shields get hit, that will tell us a lot about how the fight's going to go.
But I agree with this. Everybody talks about how good Clarissa is technically, how good she is technically. Marshall has fought. Now, although they were later, although they were after, she still fought two like opponents, and both those opponents she sparked early. So while you know people like to say that she's very, Savannah must be technical too. If she's knocking out these girls early, that with the distance, gotta have some type of technical ability to be able to catch them and put them away so quickly.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Like I said, I think for me, however Shields responds to Marshall's, you know, shots, that's going to tell us a lot about how that fight will go. Um, do you think there will be a potential stoppage? That's the question here. Do you think Marshall will be able to stop Shields, whether it be early or whether it be later in the fight?
So I'll answer this now. I'll do this. It's hard to say. When Shields gets hit, and I believe she will, it all depends on how she reacts. In the flight mode, it's very hard to knock out somebody who just disengages. Hard you hit. There is guys that Mike Tyson in his prime before he lost to Douglas couldn't knock out because they just and he was one of the best at cutting off the ring and staying on top of guys. And still, so if Shields gets hurt, I believe she's skilled in mode and survive. If she gets hurt, so likely it would go to decision, and it would be Marshall just winning because enough to win the round. She's more playing keeper way. But I mean, there is that we've never seen Shields hit. When she gets rocked, that might be it. Like we don't. If her chin is good and she can take it, I still believe Savannah wins because technical boxing match. She beat her in the amateurs in a technical match. So I know Savannah's power, but they're not giving her due respect when it comes to her boxing. I think she can outbox Clarissa, knocking her out or not, hurting her or not.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I got to be honest. The women are still on the weekend for me, just because you know the build up and just the anticipation for it. Waited for this fight. What do you think for Meyer and Baumgartner?
Oh, I would like to see Baumgartner win because I'm for the better looking female. And Alicia by far is much, but I think Mayer's too skilled. I think she's gonna box her head off.
Do you think Baumgartner has like any power enough to sort of like change the odds in that regard? because Mara is I would say the technically the better fighter. And she's also, much taller too. So it's like, it's kind of the age old thing saying, a good big man or big woman in this regard could beat the smaller fighter, all day to Tuesday.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Look, Bumgarner had an amazing stoppage over Harper. Amazing stoppage. But that power in that fight just is not translated in her. Like, people get so captivated by one knockout, but they don't look at they don't look at whenever she got into a brawl with Medusa, from Greece, and she had a bang out war with her and couldn't hurt her in law. I don't think she can generate enough power to take out. And Michaela not only is going to be taller, she's going to outweigh her by a lot.
Yeah, that's true. So, I don't know. I feel like I want to say that fight would be more competitive. If I might add, I feel like it would probably be a little bit more competitive than Marshall and Shields, because that with Shields and Marshall, that's only going to go one of two ways. Either we're going to see a masterclass by Shields, or it's going to be good night Irene with Marshall landing that big shot and then putting Shields down. And then with Meyer and Baumgartner, I feel like they have. I would say again, Meyer is much more technically skilled, but I feel like there will be it'd be cagey. It'd be way more cagey.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just Baumgartner beats her. Like we're talking about again, kind of like it goes against because of my pick for Shields and Marshall. But fighting a person with a very limited amateur background, undefeated than somebody with already a loss with less fights against lesser competition. It's just everything in that fight leads me to believe that Mayer is just going. Because I just don't think both would sound, and I think the size, the matter is something that Baumgartner's never been in there with.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But it could be like that. It could be that could be
I'm only giving Baumgartner a chance because I feel like Mayer is not so powerful. So I would say Baumgartner has a puncher's chance.
Well, you're definitely right there. Mayer does a lot of power. She definitely does not have a lot of power to be able to one-shot people. Down like an Usyk, she'll just wear you out.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how these fights unfold. Again, hoping hoping that the ladies put on a show. Now that'd be a good start to the Boxing Day, and then we'll see how Kambosos and Haney, excuse me, how Kambosos and Haney, how that's gonna go. Again, as you said, you're riding with Kambosos. Let's see, what changes that he's made. I don't. Is it, we'll see what he's done. I'm hoping he pulls up like how he did on Tiafimo. But then also the response and like how is Haney going to respond? That's another thing too.
I hear the doubt in your voice when talking about Cam. I can hear it too. You secretly think I'm insane for picking Kambosos after seeing the first. But this is what I'm gonna tell you. I don't think Kambosos needs to do what he was before that first fight with Haney. I think he thought. I think he didn't train properly. I think he thought Haney was a joke. I think belt and wasn't a legit contender. And because of all those reasons, Kambosos in the ring. We saw like Chris Eubank says, a 60% Campbell wasn't enough. I think in this fight, like you said, he's living in the gym. Animal this time around.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm pulling for him. I'm not gonna lie, because I like to give my Australian brothers love because they have Australia is a hell of a boxing country. They have a really interesting sort of just rise to obscurity all the time.
Right.
So it's good to see when they do well. But again, it's like as you said, Kambosos didn't show up the last time. So again, the fight in Australia again. I didn't catch if it was.
It's in Australia again. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, so yeah, this will be his homecoming again, so he can rewrite a wrong, essentially, and hopefully it does. But then this will put Haney on notice too. I don't think Haney is in a position where he could take a loss as well, because that's another question. Whoever loses this fight, where do they go from here?
Well, I don't know. What I would hope, if Kambosos beats Haney, they would run back the trilogy because they both have one on each other. Haney ain't go nowhere for 3 fights, so the trilogy would finish out his contract with Top Rank. Let that happen because he wants Lomachenko to go for undisputed. But ideally, Kambosos give Haney a rematch if he beats him to really prove who the best. Again, that's what I would like to see, but I don't know if Kambosos would do it. He may beat Haney and just sell off and try it again.
Yeah. I mean, is there also cause for Haney to possibly just move up? Because then realistically, what's keeping him at this weight class? Possibly fighting Lomo. That would only be probably the biggest fight for him, I think, at that weight class.
What? I mean, if he can beat Moses in the rematch, why even stay at the division? You have to keep cutting the weight because, you have Lomachenko there, but the biggest threat to him just got there, Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur. So if Shakur's going to call him out immediately, and you know that, why would you? I think it would be for Haney to move up in weight, like you just said, if he wins. Why fight Loma's already lost to Teofimo Lopez, and he lost to Salido? Why fight it?
I think because Lomo is still seen as like, I don't want to say he's the cash cow of the division, but in a way he kind of is, because we're talking about Top Rank, right? And I feel like Bob still rides with Lomo a lot. And in regards to that, like, he's also, we see the best Loma when he fought Teofimo. He came on too late,
Right.
so he let that win slip. So that would, Haney fighting him would be sort of a redemption fight. And then if Lomo can, beat Haney, then I feel like Haney, he doesn't really take, like, his stock won't necessarily go down per se, because then we can say, he probably lost to the best version of Loma. But then, then that will give him all the more reason to move up and fight Teofimo, because then we can see, okay, that was a match that was supposed to happen.
But let me throw this at you. If he beats Kambosos again, right? That beat Tio. Tio was the guy that beat Loma. Why not just move up and beat the guy that beat Loma?
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's true.
You know what I mean? Like you don't even need Loma at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think that'd just be probably a good send-off fight from the division. I mean, actually, potentially even Kambosos too. You know, if he wins again, that'd be a good send-off, and then he could just move up, and that would be that. You know, but if he's really feeling, you know, frosty, then he just fights Stevenson, and then, you know, that'd be good. You know, that'd be good pay-per-view.
Now that Shakur is in the division, is Loma really the second best guy? Like, how many people do you believe right now would say that they favor Shakur over Loma?
Yeah, that's a interesting question. Yeah, I'm kind of stumped now because I don't know, but see, that's also saying I don't think Shakur's fought anybody like Loma. I feel like he's had good competition, but they haven't been like elite competition.
Well, Valdez was elite.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Valdez was considered the number one guy, got completely outclassed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then Shakur went on to be, although he missed weight and didn't even try to make weight, the guy who arguably beat Valdez as well and Conceição in like, so to me, he's already conquered the 130 division. I mean, 126, I wouldn't really say he conquered that division at all, but I believe in for that. Missed weight, decided to move up. And Devin Haney would say, yo, the winner out of Loma and Shakur fights me. And then move up afterwards still.
Yeah.
He's got all the marbles. Like, he can dictate what he wants.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best sort of, you know, match to make in the division is Loma versus Shakur, and then winner gets Devin Haney.
Right. It's just, I just don't know what Bob Arum will do. His number one upcomer in Shakur against his forward Loma. Like, would he risk that? That's my only question. But I can fight and Devin move up.
Yeah, most definitely.
And you know what? Lomachenko might be able to beat Devin Haney. He might, but again, when you look at the time, I feel like Loma missed his opportunity to fight that. He wanted to fight him. He could have fought him and not gone on franchise when Devin was a mandatory. He could have ran it first, but he didn't. And now Devin contractually obligated to the rematch, and we already know that he's strong. Is Lomachenko really the guy you want to get in there with if you're struggling to make any? I don't see the upside for Devin to fight him.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Well, hopefully, I guess a lot of questions will be answered this weekend. so we'll see. You know what the next steps will be for a lot of these guys. As you said, I think he might, if Haney wins, he might just sell off into the sunset in terms of just moving up in weight.
Yeah, I mean, I just what I think of is Mauricio Suleiman saying about a year that Bill called him and told him that Devin was like 155. That's a lot of weight. 20 pounds to drop, that's a lot of weight.
Yes, indeed. I mean, he has like the build to possibly be a welterweight at some point, you know. So I imagine he'll probably go to 140 and then move up to 147 probably later in his career.
Speaking of builds and flipping up the subject, there's one guy in boxing right now, build to do something that's never been, well, it has been done. It actually has. I shouldn't say never. James Tony did it. But Fondora has the build.
Yeah, I see him. I personally, I find him. He may cap out at light heavy, like a light heavyweight. He might not like. He has the height for heavyweight actually, but I feel like just aesthetically how he's like built, like he has more what we would call fast twitch muscles, right? So his cap probably be, I don't know. I'll even be more generous. I'll say cruiserweight.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I think of myself, like, I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'11". Faster as I went up in weight. I got stronger and faster. When I was 70 pounds running fast, I was probably, I was 4/10 of a second faster in the 40-yard dash when I got up to 215. Body. All your Olympic track runners are built like bodybuilders. They're all. So a lot of people like to think that muscles slow you down and you can't be as fast and twitchy. When you're emaciated and underweight like Fondora is, I think as he puts on more weight, more size.
He kind of reminds me, and I feel like this is probably a fair. He's like Paul Williams for the weight, right?
That was
And I feel like Paul Williams, had that accident never happened, he definitely would have, moved up, way more in weight, and possibly would have been, I don't know, maybe a super mid or maybe a light heavyweight at some point.
right.
So I feel like Fondora, he has the dimensions, again, I feel like he's definitely he's not gonna stay at 54 forever. He's definitely gonna move to 160 and definitely gonna be at 168. I think he'd be best if he went up to 175 because hopefully this happens. I feel him and Ramirez, that would be a really good fight. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a good fight. Looks against Beaver. That's going to be really the $1 million question to answer about how or is not, because he's got no competition level at all. Like, competition is horrible. So if he can go in there and dominate, that's a bad word. If he can be competitive against Beaver, beat him, or even lose in a close fight, great fight. But if he goes in there against Beaver and gets blown out the water, would that really be a fight that you?
That's another question too. If Zordo loses to Bivol, where does his stock go? Where does he go from there?
68? I have no idea.
Because personally, I think he'd be like, he should probably go to cruiserweight. I feel like he should move up to cruiserweight because there's no 175. It's great, but there's nothing. I don't see him in the picture or in the mix for anything else. He could probably wait around for whatever happens with the other belts. But for Beterbiev and because Beterbiev's mandatory is yard, so and if that fight ever happens, so that's the only other option he has.
I don't want to see Anthony Yarde versus Beterbiev. I'd rather see Beterbiev feuded because Yard stands no chance. Like he is a chance against Beterbiev. Unless Beterbiev's not the same fighter after this injury that he just, I don't believe that. I think he gets knocked.
So you think he would be put down like way earlier than what Kovalev did to him?
Oh yeah, It would be like a joke. I don't. Like Kovalev was over the. He was way past his better days. And every round, but I believe it was the 8th round where Yard came on strong and looked like he might have, which is weird because in the entire fight, he never went to the body. But one did good. Then after that round, he quit going to the body again and just head on it. But yeah, if an old man Kovalev can do that to him better and throws way more punch selection, I don't see how he survives.
Yeah, and then what kills me with him also, he's just so inactive. So it's like, how are you preparing for Beterbiev, and you've been so inactive. Your last win was Lyndon Arthur, and that was how many months passed, you know.
He's supposed to have a tune-up fight until Beterbiev comes back.
I'm open, so, and I'm like I said, I would love to see him fight Liam Smith. I mean, not Liam Smith, excuse me. Callum Smith. That'd be pretty interesting.
Deadly right now at 175.
I think that would be the fight to make. Callum Smith versus Anthony Yard. That'd be pretty interesting. But I think what's this guy? There's another, not Lawrence Okoli. His name escapes me. He's another top 175er from the UK.
Bacoli?
Is it Okoli? Okay, it might be Okoli.
Yeah.
Who was supposed to fight John Pascal, but that fight fell through.
Yeah, Bacoli.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that fight hasn't happened between him and Yard. That was supposed to happen so many times. But it seems like Yard never wanted, or Yard's team never wanted that fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw, like, in that Richards fight, I think Colby's a knock. I don't think he has a chin. Really?
Yeah, it's Joshua Buatsi. It's Buatsi. That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's Buatsi. It's supposed to be Buatsi versus Yard. Yeah.
You're right. I'm completely wrong. It is Buatsi. I don't know why I'm saying correct. It was Buatsi against Richards.
Yeah.
Look at Kelvin. He get it mad. Buatsi is the name.
Yeah.
Bro, come over here and work it out. My brain.
All right. So yeah, that's supposed to been, that would be a good domestic dust up, I think, between Yard and Buatsi. But for whatever reason, they just can't come to an agreement.
Well, it's kind of the Amir Khan Kell Brook thing. It's kind of like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Yard and Buatsi is going to take over. All the shine is going to be on them, and the other guy's going to. That's why you don't really see them types of fights. That's why we can't get Crawford. That's why we can't get Boots Ennis to fight anybody at the top. Just trash how boxing's turned out.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the question: do you think after Jermell versus Tim Tszyu, do you think he'll fight Fundora next?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from Charlo that tells me he would duck. Little Charlo is big. Big Charlo don't want to fight anybody.
Yeah, Adames really he showed out this past weekend. Uh, he put Martial like down for the count, and he made Charles win look like nothing. So
I didn't see the
I,
fight.
I would love to see Jamal come back and fight Adames.
I missed the fight.
Because who is Big Charlo fighting? He's not fighting anybody. I mean, he has his injury
Nobody.
now, but who's going to be his comeback fight?
I know Andrade tried to fight him several times, and that never. I don't know.
But Andrade just moved up to 68. So you think he would come back to 160 to fight Charlo?
Well, maybe. I don't know if there's enough money. I doubt it because he vacated his belt. If what I've seen is true, Andrade should be fighting Benavidez next, reported, which would be a great fight. That would be the first big fight he's had. Give him the credit that he's owed. Because people talk so much shit about him being is the most dodged fighter in middleweight.
Yeah. Who do you think wins that fight?
Between Charlo and Andrade?
No, Andrade and Benavidez.
Oh, Benavidez, I don't know. Like, see, this is the thing. I've always believed class 154, 160, 168, it does not matter. Fuck it. Even once beat Canelo, I've always believed it. However, I'm not convinced Andrade can do it. I'm not convinced he's good enough to go up all the weight classes. So it's like at 168. I mean, as far as his competition at 160, decimated them all pretty easily. 154 shot that he was going to get that would put his name in the limelight, Billy Joe Saunders. He popped high. So I really don't know if he can get. He is so big. Like Andrade started at 154 and Benavidez lucky to make 168, and he just throws so many punches. Like doesn't get so. Plus he's going to be giving up height. I don't know. I really.
How tall is Benavidez? I thought Benavidez was like 6'2".
Yeah, Andrade, I believe.
I think he's like 6'1". I think he's listed at 6'1", Andrade.
We can fact check. I think Benavidez is 6'2", like you said, Andrade is 6'1". So Benavidez. Let's look it up though. Let's verify.
I know Benavidez is just like a cruiserweight in there. Actually, that's what he looks like when he's in the ring.
He does. He is 6'1". So we were right there. And let's look. Benavidez is. Oh, it also has him listed as. So they're the same height.
Okay. Who has the longer reach?
Oh, I'll look it back up. Yeah. Let's go back. Demetrius Andrade. See if Box Rank has his reach. 73.5 inches for Andrade. So 73 and it is. $74.5 on Benavidez.
All right, so they're relatively similar down the line. I would say this will be Benavidez's toughest fight because if we remember, didn't I forget the guy's name, but he was one of Floyd's fighters. that was giving Benavidez, hell in their first fight, and then Benavidez overcame him in the second fight that they had, the rematch that he had. Um, and that guy, was really good, but he was a smaller fighter. So I think Andrade, he's really good at catching people, in the first couple rounds. So it might be a little bit of a shock for Benavidez.
If he can hurt Benavidez, like the dude's like,
that's also the truth.
Wait, he's big. I believe Benavidez. Some gonna say that he gets up to like close to 200 pounds by fight night. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
no, that's what I'm saying. He's definitely a cruiserweight in that ring.
Yeah, it's a especially. I mean, like Andrade, he's got good power, but he's not good at keeping them down. So I don't know. Like I just think about the pressure that Benavidez is going to come with. Can Andrade outpunch him? I don't know. Like it's a big step up. Like that's a huge for both of them. It's probably both their hardest fight, to be honest.
Yeah. This will be definitely their hardest fight, selectively.
Benavidez, he's a two-time super middleweight WBC champion. Never lost in a fight.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see if that fight comes to fruition, because I mean that's the only big fight for Andrade at this and 68 weight class. Unless he waits for whoever wins between Durrell and Caleb Plant.
Oh gosh, Caleb Plant. I can't believe anybody thought like. I kept telling people like Caleb Plant is not good. He struggled with You're struggling with Truex? Nah, there's no way you're going to beat Canelo. No. So, I'd be surprised if Durrell beats him. I would not be surprised.
Oh, if Durrell beats Caleb Plant?
Yeah, it would not surprise me. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised.
Fair enough. I feel like Caleb Plant has enough to beat Durrell at this stage.
I don't think he's that good. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you think Caleb could beat Benavidez?
I don't think so. No, I think Benavidez is too strong for him.
Do you think Benavidez? He definitely cannot beat Canelo. He already proved that. Hell, I don't even know.
I missed that part. What you said?
Put Caleb in there with John Ryder.
That would be interesting. I'll give John Ryder's I'll give him a good chance actually in that fight. I feel like he might shock people because I mean he definitely shocked us with Danny. I felt Danny won that fight, but hey.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was close. It was tight. It could have went.
That was karma for the Gabe Rosado fight with Danny. Yeah, Danny lost that fight because of karma.
Where they announced it was like, Sykes should take it back.
Yeah, that was definitely a home cooked win, but Ryder gave a good accounting of himself. I mean, I still think it's kind of crazy that he's the mandatory for I believe he's still the mandatory for Canelo, but we'll see what happens with Canelo's next fight. Who knows who he's going to fight next? I heard he just told Mauricio Sulaiman the WBC has to understand that he gets to fight whoever he wants, so he doesn't have to fight as mandatory.
Well, and I'm going to say this, and everybody in the world, there was a dude trolling named Elefanger. Here's my thing, and my opinion doesn't matter. I'm just some guy on YouTube. I'm no boxing analyst. I'm not a journalist. I'm not on TV. These guys, but here's my opinion. I do not consider Canelo would lose, but I don't consider him undisputed until he fights Benavidez. Because I've never seen where a champion loses his belt on the scale and is not allowed to fight for that belt again in the vacated match. Almost everything has been stripped. They have the option to refight for that belt. Only for Canelo did they take it and let Canelo fight for it without Benavidez being attached.
Yep. That's a fair point.
And that's my biggest issue with Canelo. I feel like the best at 154. He didn't fight. He fought Mayweather at 147, got embarrassed. He didn't fight Andrade. He moves up to 1 Triple G. I don't care what the judges said. It was not a draw. He lost that fight clearly. 168, he doesn't fight the best. He goes up to 175 champion, and Kovalev comes back up to 175 to be who I think is the weaker champion. Sure, doesn't hit as hard as better be. Like, to me, he doesn't go for the best in any division. Yes, what he's done is impressive, but still, it's a lot of opinion.
Yeah. So, do you think? But here's the thing: do you think Canelo's on the slide now because of this last fight? That he doesn't have the sort of the dog in him to want to fight the guys who are so wanting to fight him.
I mean, convenient how after he gets caught eating steaks, he's now just real convenient.
Yeah, he gets tired now. He's getting tired later in the rounds, and then there's just a blueprint to beat him, and a lot of these guys they have the blueprint. I think to really put a dent in him. If Bivol did it, what would Benavidez do? What would Andre do? It's interesting, to see what will happen to Canelo. And someone made a point that Canelo has one of those old time records. It's like 57 and like, what is he? 57 and 2, 2-2. So that's just, or 58 now, I think, 2-2. That's such a classic record. He had a lot of fights. So the wear and tear, is he a old, what is he, 32? Is he an old 32 or is he a young 32?
That is a he does have a lot of wear and tear in his style of fighting. Is it built for long? I don't know. He could be an old 32. I mean, he's complaining that his knees no longer work. So when your legs start, that's a good sign that you might be done.
Yeah. But where does Triple G go from here? I mean, he has the mandatory with Lara. But besides that, who else can he fight at this stage?
Yeah, I don't like the Lara match. I wish it would have been over. Because Lara himself is just as old. Like, Triple G as if he's ancient, but they forget Lara's only a year younger. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Does Lara have enough to beat Triple G at this stage?
I don't know. Either one of them, I think they get washed against any of the elites. I think they lose. I really think any of the young. I think Charlo beats them both. I think Chris Eubank beats them both. If Andrade beats them both, like, there's just a list of guys that I think would beat him at this point. I better days.
Who, in your opinion, is the dark horse of the middleweights division right now? A lot of people are giving it to Janabek, uh, of being the most avoided fighter in the division right now. Do you believe that to be so?
I mean, he's the most avoided fighter because Andrade didn't. That's the only person who I can think of avoided him. And really, he didn't even avoid him. Like, factual about it, Andrade stated that he was going up, made this, and then Janabek is pushed on him as if he never moved up, as if 160. So I'm not convinced that Andrade ducked him because it would have been before and then he moved up. There's an argument to be made. And he doesn't have a lot of fights. We really don't know. He really doesn't have a lot of fights. I mean, he could just be a hype train that gets derailed. A really top level competitor. We don't know. I don't know.
It's a lot of questions will be asked. I was, even though it was stated that him and Triple G would never fight because Janabek considers Triple G like a big brother, just being from the same country. So, I mean, that would probably be a good send off for Triple G if they were to fight, but that's not going to happen apparently.
Yeah, it's a saying. Oh, I'm not going to fight Zerto if he beats Beaver because he's from Mexico like me. But in the history of boxing, have we ever heard boxers say, I'm not going to fight a countryman?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. But that's the state of where we are. Unfortunately, we can't get the fights that we want because of, some of the prima donnas in these various divisions. But we'll see. But with that being said, sir, once again, awesome chatting with you. It's late over here where I'm at, so I'm gonna call it in.
I'm going to ask you one question before you go because we didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
The other big fight coming up Saturday, Helenius Wilder. Who wins?
I'm gonna go with Wilder.
I got Wilder as well.
Yeah, I can't. As much as I want Helenius to win, I just can't see it. I can't see it. But again, he has a puncher's chance. But so does Wilder. Because I don't know. I don't really rate Malik Scott as a trainer personally. I think he did okay for what he's done for Wilder in that third Fury fight, but I don't know if Wilder's really learning anything from Malik Scott. Because I feel like Wilder's athleticism is what carried him through that third. As much as he was in there, his athleticism carried him in that third Fury fight. Not anything that Malik Scott was telling him.
I mean, the only thing I can is he actually fought. And he actually fought at heavyweight. With actually fighting comes knowledge. So I'm not
true.
He's the best trainer in the world, but I would say that we'll see how, like the trilogy, they didn't really have enough time to work together, but they've had more than enough time, some type of new game plan, and we'll see if Wilder picks it up. I mean,
yeah,
it's really going to how good, like you said, Malik really is. It's going to be the real measuring stick. Then you're 1,000% correct. We shouldn't rate him as a trainer. But if Wilder comes in there throwing feint uppercuts and shots to the body, I mean, then we might be able to say training for him.
Yeah, I guess the jury will still be out. But yeah, it's just going to be curious to see what Wilder's going to show up. I think that's the real question. Is he still, that knockout machine that he was so many years ago, or is he a shell of his former self? Because this is kind of a good measuring stick. Because there's but so much. Those were brutal knockouts. I mean, we can't say that they weren't. And
Right.
that really, messed up his psyche so much. But again, at that level, you have to have the sense of entitlement slash delusional ness that he has. So we have to see if he, is he still the bomb squad? Can he still deliver those concussive shots and put them together well? So there's a lot of questions that will be asked.
I will say much better to lose to Tyson Fury than it is Usyk. So it's elation prize, a peace of mind. At least he knows he lost to the best. Like, there's no shame in losing to the best as long as you fight the best. And it could just be that Fury's the only guy that could beat him. Fury's the only one that was taller to hit and stay away from that right. Everybody else is shorter than one. I don't know.
True.
Like you said, we'll see if he's been too battle torn to survive. Scott's a trainer, and we'll see if he's still a knockout machine. Because if he looks hot, then we know mentally he's not the same fighter.
Yeah. Because now for nothing, I think this was this is a joke, but Hellenius has like I would say he's Fury light, right? Because they kind of have a similar aesthetic.
Right.
So that'd be not no sports psychologist here, but it'd be kind of a little shock to Wilder's system that you have a guy who has the kind of a similar profile to Fury. So
that means he needs to come in bald and shave his beard. Completely look like Fury. Let your belly hang out.
Yep.
Drink some beer. But yeah, you could be right. Like whenever he sees Hellenius, something psychologically. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. It could make him go in there and want to kill Hellenius. Very hesitant.
Yeah. And like I said, Hellenius can crack too, because we seen what he did to Konaki. Not saying of course Konaki pales in comparison to Deontay Wilder, but he has power too.
Oh, he definitely does. He definitely can crack.
And I mean, if old men were, my last point.
Okay, go ahead. I'm not.
If Ortiz. Yeah, if Ortiz could have got to Wilder, I feel like Hellenius can too.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Ortiz and Wilder didn't go down.
Yeah, that's true. He was on spindly legs, though.
Yeah, but I think Wilder is durable, and I think he has a lot of heart. I think he's extremely has a hell of a lot of heart. Because both times he got dominated by Fury, he never the towel was coming across the ring when he was throwing a left hook. When he got to throw a shot and got bop and went down and out, he was still fighting back. So I don't know. Like I think Wilder's got a very, very good chin and a lot of heart.
We'll see. This will be a good litmus test this weekend. So pretty much that's the name of the weekend, right? It's a bunch of litmus tests in the Marshall Shields fight, Baumgartner Meyer fight, Haney Kambosos, Wilder Hellenius. So it's a lot of litmus tests to see, who has what.
Who really belongs where.
Yep.
It is. But it's going to be a great day of boxing. It's going to be a really good day of boxing. It might be a bad day.
Will you stream during any of these fights at all?
So normally I do live commentary blow by blow, but this weekend I don't know if I'm going to be able to. do the work. I got to work over it. Like my job keeps me on the road.
Fair enough.
But normally for the big fight, about low commentary to where I call every single shot that happens in the round. I try to paint a pan with it. So if you can't see it, you can visualize it.
Got it.
I don't think I'll be able to do this weekend. I'll try if I can, but no promises.
All right. Well, sir, I'll bid you a good night and a good morning, actually. So we'll see how this weekend unfolds, and I'll be on the lookout for your results critiques later in the week.
All right. I'll probably do a couple of prediction videos on these fights coming up because I like some playlists. So hopefully I don't get any more wrong.
All right. All right. When all else
All right,
fails, just bet on the beard.
That's it. But yeah, man, you chopping it up with me.
Thank you again. Have a good day.
All right. Just buys is not happening. Holy shit. Okay. I know. Really? Well, that sucks. I won't stream on this again. You been here the whole time, regulator? Because this will be the last time I stream on this. Being that the audio was chopped. That sucks. Oh, that's all right. That's cool. It just sucks that because for anybody joining time, that's what they remember. Choppy audio quality. Whew. It's what? 1 o'clock in the morning? Oh yeah. And I gotta try to get up by 7. It's gonna be hell. I might have to back up that live stream. I have to back it up by like an hour or so. yeah, I'll play it back. I'll listen to it. In fact, I think I'm gonna stop it here today. I appreciate you coming through. Everybody that came through, Prodigal for jumping on Charles' defense. Regulator like always. Let's go through. Blue came through. Kelvin came through, of course, through. But hey, impromptu. Y'all have a good night. And again, I appreciate all the video right now. I'm working on the video right